Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Craig Campbell from Pastor Craig's Vintage Cards. Going to make a quick video here on a couple of interesting players from this 1972 Topps football set. Many of you will recognize Fran Tarkenton, a Hall of Fame quarterback. Played with the Vikings, then he got traded to the Giants, and then back to the Vikings. But it's a kind of an interesting connection here. It's kind of a trading places type scenario, but after the 1966-67 season, the Minnesota Vikings, they traded Fran Tarkenton to the New York Giants. And it was a multiplayer trade, and there were draft picks involved and everything else. So the Vikings, they end up getting, because Tarkenton goes to the Giants, so the Vikings, they end up drafting this fella here, Bob Grimm, in that Fran Tarkenton trade. So Bob Grimm plays with the Minnesota Vikings for a few years, and then he ends up getting traded to the New York Giants in a trade that brought Fran Tarkenton back from the Giants to the Vikings. So Grimm gets drafted by the Vikings because of a trade with Fran Tarkenton, and then Fran Tarkenton gets traded back to the Vikings. Bob Grimm goes from the Vikings to the Giants. And then what's really interesting is that after a while, Bob Grimm goes from the Giants to the Bears, but he ends up coming back to the Vikings. And Bob Grimm and Fran Tarkenton were teammates for the Vikings for 2 years, and they played in Super Bowl IX, in which the Minnesota Vikings lost. So a real case of trading places where Fran goes from the Vikings to the Giants. He ends up getting drafted by the Vikings. He gets traded to the Giants. Fran gets traded back to the Vikings in the same trade, and they end up meeting each other at the end of his career. And he played 2 years with Fran Tarkenton. So just a quite interesting connection between these two players of trading places. And just wanted to share that with you. Have a great night, everybody.